Hello, readers in Taiwan. How are you doing? My name is Ali Abdaal, and I am a doctor turned entrepreneur and the author of this book, Feel Good Productivity, which should now hopefully be available wherever books are sold in Taiwan, which is very exciting because I didn't realize this book was going to be available in Taiwan, but now it is, which is pretty freaking cool. And so in this little video, I wanted to tell you a little bit about me and why you might want to consider buying and or reading the book. So, I used to be a doctor. I studied in med school for 6 years at Cambridge University here in the UK. And then I graduated, and then I worked as a doctor in the UK's National Health Service. And along the way, I felt pretty burned out and pretty depressed until I discovered the philosophy of feel-good productivity. I discovered that even though the day job was pretty demanding and the working conditions were not amazing, in the grand scheme of things, I could find a way to approach my work in a way that made it feel good. And alongside my doctor career, I built a YouTube channel and a business and stuff around that. And it was really because I was able to be productive and energized by my day job that I had the time and energy to actually focus on my business on the side alongside the day job. And essentially a few years later, I started making videos about productivity. I became the world's most followed productivity expert, and I decided to write a book about my productivity philosophy. And so I spent 3 years working on this book, researching every aspect of how do we be productive, but in a way that actually feels good. How do we be productive so we can get more done, but in a way that doesn't sacrifice our physical and mental health, in a way that doesn't lead to burnout. And that is where the philosophy of feel-good productivity came about. In general, the basic thesis is that if you can find a way to make your work feel good, then your productivity takes care of itself. But the reason it works is because there's some super interesting science in the field of psychology called the broaden and build theory, which is basically about the power of positive emotions and how positive emotions can actually make us more productive, more creative, less stressed, and positive emotions in our work can give us more energy to give to the other important areas of our life. So the book is split up into 3 parts. Part 1 is Energize, which is about the 3 Ps: play, power, and people. If you incorporate these 3 things into your work, however boring the work might be, it's guaranteed to become more energizing and enjoyable. Part 2 is Unblock, and it's about the 3 blockers that reduce our energy and that cause us to procrastinate and get distracted. This is things like fear, uncertainty, inertia. And so the middle 3 chapters of the book are about overcoming those things. And then the final part of the book is called Sustain. And that's all about how do we make our productivity actually sustainable in the long run, and how do we overcome burnout. And so that chapter is about conserving our energy, recharging our energy, and ultimately aligning the things that we're doing here and now with the future, the vision for the future that we want. So we've got Energize, Unblock, and Sustain. And so if you read through the book, you will find in each chapter, so there are 9 chapters in total, there are 6 different experiments. And so in total, there are 54 experiments in the book. That's quite a lot. You don't have to apply all of them. But the reason we're calling them experiments is because the whole philosophy is of thinking like a bit of a productivity scientist. You've got these different 54 experiments to choose from, and based on where you are in your work and in your life, you can experiment with different experiments and see if they work for you. If they work for you, then great, you've just found an amazing strategy to level up your productivity in a way that feels good. And if they don't work for you, that's fine as well. A negative result is still a good result when it comes to experimentation. So if you're interested in finding more ways to make your work feel a little bit more like play, to help turn work from a drain of energy into a source of energy, then you may want to check out my book, Feel Good Productivity, available everywhere books are sold. Thank you so much.